Hi everyone, I have had a request to do this page from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Johanna Basford, and I thought it might make a little nice mini series of little morning videos that we could do maybe one or maybe two items at a time across this sort of double page. I may just do one to start with, I may do both. I'll just see how it all goes really. But I've grabbed my Polychromos because they are the ones that I'm most confident with in making gold or silver or metallic, which is what we're going to have a lot of on this page. I can see that right away. So let's try and go a little bit closer. Now it's a little bit tricky with this one, it's so low down. I think I'll leave it quite zoomed out actually, because we need to be able to see the whole thing. Now excuse me, I'm going to pop it into the middle of this view though. I can't see whether I've got the whole of the top in camera. No, hang on. There we go. We'll leave it like that. I know we're a little bit out. I've got my Polychromos, so I'm going to get started. I think I quite like to do this gemstone in quite a dark purple. So what I'm going to do is do this ribbon and the beading to match. And I should do the ribbon and the beading and then I'll come in closer to do this bit because I think this is the bit that could be a little more tricky. So if I'm going to do this in purples, I'm going to use probably the mauve in the Polychromos. So I'm thinking I can do this in a slightly contrasting colour, which might go nicely with it. So I've got my Manganese Violet, which I'm just sharpening, and I'm going to use that for the ribbon. So here it is, Manganese Violet. Now what I'm going to do is make it a little darker here and then start to fade it down, and then do the same over here and fade it upwards, and then it hopefully, if you squint a bit and pretend, it's a little bit shiny and silky, and we'll do the same with this bit down here. Like that. And then for the bow, similarly, I do a dark bit at each sort of end really. There are sort of more photorealistic, accurate ways of doing it, but I find this works quite well for me. I think it still looks pretty and it's not too complicated. So I'm doing the same on all of, just leaving a shine sort of towards the centre of each one really. Like that. Oh, that one didn't have so much. So there we go. And we've got this beading to do. Now these beads have got lines drawn on them and these haven't, but I'm going to do them the same. So I'm going to do all the round beads in one colour and all these sort of other shape beads in a different colour. So I'm thinking if we go for slightly pinky purples, and then this might show up a little bit more. That's my thought. So I'm going to grab this one, I think. This is the crimson, so it's quite a dark pink. I'm sorry for the light. I hope it's okay. Hang on. I don't think I put my lamp on. 1 minute. I'm trying to see. It's really bright sunshine in here. My lamp doesn't want to work. Bear with me a minute. I'm just going to unplug it and plug it in and then it will come on. Usually does anyway. Nope. Bear with me, I'm going to turn off. Right, sorry, I've put my lamp on now. I've got the crimson colour. It was really hard to see because it's so bright in here. Now I'm going to do the little round beads with this one. Now my aim, even though they're teeny tiny, is to try to put a darker edge and a light centre. But yeah, they're teeny tiny. If you can't do that, just put it on quite dark, because I'm going to add a bit of white on there to make them look a little bit shiny. Because although I'm sort of colouring them as beads rather than gemstones, I think it's rather nice to make them shine. So I'm going to use a white pen for that. I think most colourists tend to own a white pen these days. It's almost an essential part of my, you know, if I was going somewhere and taking a little mini colouring kit for more than a day, you know, on holiday or whatever, I would definitely, a white pen. You know, I'd take one set of pencils, one book, an eraser, a sharpener, and a white pen would be really like key. Okay, so these ones, it actually looks quite similar to the ribbon colour, even though they're sort of different colours. Yeah. I think I'm going to do these beads even more pink. I'm looking at the sort of, oops, yeah, the middle purple pink, I'm thinking. This one, I rather like this one. And I'm going to try a similar thing, using quite a sharp pencil, going around the edge with more layers, trying to leave that central bit a little bit lighter. Don't want too much white paper, just a little bit. And just sort of bring that in. Just checking the time. I thought it was quiet. My son is streaming today, but it's a few minutes earlier than he's going to start. I thought I might as well come in. As I said to my sister, I was chatting to her on Facebook. I said I might as well come in here and talk to myself, because I can't talk to my boys because he's streaming. Now we've got a bit of metallic here to do. Now with this ring, I'm thinking grey, silver, sorry, is probably the best for that. Okay, there's our sort of ribbony part. I think that's the slightly easier bit. I'm going to put the white pen on now because I think I might forget otherwise. Oops. Now you could, if you want to, use a glitter pen. Like this Sakura one that's a clear glitter, and make them really shiny, but I'm just going to use the white pen to make some shine. I'm going to draw a little dot of white on the same side of each one. I think keep it consistent through, it sort of makes more sense. And then when you do all your other items on the page, put your shine on the same side as this. And then it looks like the light source is making it shine. It's a really simple way of doing it, I think, without trying to sort of think too hard about light sources. So let's come in a lot closer for our ring, because I think this is more complex, but you may not agree. But yeah, there we go. So as I said, I want to do silver. You can just use one grey and it can work quite well. I'm going to use a few because I think it can be a little bit easier. So this is Cold Grey 6. I like a cold grey for silver. And what I'm thinking is that it's going to be dark here, under where that stone is. That stone, I'm thinking it might be casting a shadow, but it's facing the other way. But I'm just thinking it should be dark there and maybe on our edges. And then I'm just going to do a loose bit around it like this, just to sort of so I can blend it into my next grey. And I'm thinking I might have it darker up here around where this ribbon is, and then just fade it a little bit there and under here. Now with this band of a ring like this one, you can see that it's sort of darker at the bottom and lighter at the top, where the light from my window is hitting here and my lamp. But with this ring, it's very thin, like this one is. It's quite difficult to make it two colours within this band. So I think it's easier to put our white piece across the whole thing, and I'm going to put it each end here and here. Okay, so I will show you with my next colour. I'm going to go down a couple of numbers. So we are Cold Grey 4. You'll have to believe me because he's a bit small. And we're going to extend the grey here, just go over those bits where you sort of just put a little bit like that, and then take it up here a bit and up here a bit, and then bring this down like that. Now you could leave it like that, but I feel there's a little bit too much white for my liking, so I'm just going to get a lighter one, which is, I'm going to go down to Cold Grey 2. and just put a few touches in, just to extend it a little bit. So we've still got some white. The white shows our shine, and I'm going to leave a bit of white here too, like that. There we go. Now you can draw your white in. So here where I've left a tiny bit of white, you may have not had that accuracy, and I wouldn't be surprised you could just get your white pen and sort of draw it in. But I find it easier to leave the paper because I'm not very accurate with my pen. It's, you know, whatever works for you really. I'm now sharpening at my mauve, ready to do that gemstone. So here he is. He's very small. Now I'm looking at the angles, thinking about maybe this would be, we've got the light on the sides, and it's coming from this side on all our beads, but I think I'm just going to look at each gemstone individually. So this is obviously it's all one stone, but we've got different facets. So we've got this bit and this bit and this bit and this bit. So I'm going to just look at this part, and I'm going to go in dark here and then lighten it towards the sort of centre bit here, because we've got an angle is cut there. Now this is the top, sort of top. I'm thinking maybe darker there and lighter towards the edge. And here I'm thinking maybe it would be darker there where it's near to that metal, and lighter here. And then maybe this one would be a little darker at the bottom. And I'm going to do these two symmetrically the same as those two. So just bringing that colour gently up, and this one darker at the bottom, and then this one a little darker on the edge. And then this one was darker on the inside, like that. Now these bits that are higher up, I'm thinking that these might be flat and facing us, and I'm going to just do a really light few lines like that on them, as if there's a lot of light shining on them, and then make these a bit darker, like that. And that is the basic. Now I might grab my white pen and do a few bits of fiddling. So this is my Gellyroll 8 again, and I'm thinking maybe here, thinking about where it might be catching the light in between these sort of facets, like that. A little bit, maybe even eliminating our outline a bit, maybe just a bit at the top of that one, like that. There we go. Maybe I've overdone it, but there's our sort of shiny stone. You might think that's a bit too white. You might want to put a bit of mauve. I do think it's a bit too white. I'm going to put a bit more mauve down in places, just to make it look like it's not completely white. There, I'm happy with that. It's just a little bit of vague scribble. But there we go. So there is our first element, which is our ring. But we're going to pull up. I'm going to have a go at this key. Let's just extend out a little bit so we can do the chain part as well. Now I'm thinking we could go to a gold colour for this one. I'm just going to move all my pencils across out of my way, and my pen. There we go. So I'm going to start with my golds. I usually start with a dark colour. I do vary it a bit, but we'll start with the burnt umber today. And I look at my key, and I think about where are my darkest areas going to be, and I'm thinking along here is the first bit. Now we have to decide, is that bit hollow or is it dented in? I'm thinking it's dented in, so I'm going to make that bit a little bit dark. I don't think it would be hollow. And maybe make those bits dark. And then I'm just going to do a little bit on the edges. Now I would normally do a bit on each edge of this sort of stem part, because we've got quite a thick bit there. I'm actually going to not put one on that side. And I'm sort of thinking maybe it'd be darker. Whoops, it's a bit messy. Under there, it won't hurt if it's messy. Hopefully. I'm going to make those bits see-through. You know, they're cut out. Obviously that one is because we've got that hooked around it. Okay, so now we need a slightly lighter brown. I might go for a sort of mid-brown. Let's go for the Van Dyke brown. Now we don't want too much of this because we need to move on to our yellows. I'm going to give it a sharpen. It needs to be quite sharp. So here it is, the Van Dyke. And I'm just going to go a bit more in here. This bit's going to be a bit darker because it's sort of indented back over there, which can extend out that bit a little bit. And this, go back over this a little. Basically, once you've marked out where you want your darker areas to be, it's a lot easier because you can just extend those with your next colour choice. Do you need to think about here? I'm thinking there'll be some shadow from that there. I might just bring that down there. And on this side, actually, like that. Yeah. That's enough of that one. Oops. Sorry, I shouldn't have moved the book. I should have moved that book, which you can't see. Okay, so now I'm going to go for a lightish brown. I've just noticed this one's got a dent in it. It's the brown ochre. I did have a dented pencil. When I bought my first set of Polychromos, one of them was dented. And I got it from Amazon, and I wrote to them and said, you know, it's dented quite a long way down, so I don't know if it's going to affect the pencil or not, but you know, it's not very good. And they said, oh, just we'll send you a whole new set, just send us back those. And I was like, no, because that's such a waste. Are you going to resell it or chuck it in the bin? What's going to happen? So I said, no, I don't need a whole new set, I just want a replacement of the one pencil. But they couldn't do that, so they gave me I said, well, I negotiated a refund for the price of replacing the one pencil, and actually it was fine. It didn't really shatter until I got right down to the bottom, and it didn't behave as a normal pencil, which is what you would expect from one with a big, it had a big split in the wood, but it just took a couple of sharpens, so I think I got quite a good deal in the end. Gold, green gold, sorry. Now we're getting to the point where we are extending our colours quite a bit. It's hopefully looking a little more gold-like, and some of our spaces are getting quite small. Now the key, oh I'm so funny, for gold, like the silver that we did just now, is to leave some white spaces, and they will give us our shine. So we need to make sure that we leave ourselves those, and we'll get our last colour. What shall I use? You can use a Naples yellow, but I think I might use a this one. I don't know what it is though. Number 105. I think it's light cadmium yellow, but I will just double check for you in case you want to do it identically. 105. Yes, light cadmium yellow. So here we're going to just, now with my final yellow, I always go over everything to fill in any gaps, because there will be some little minuscule gaps that I've left, and because my final yellow is always a really vibrant one, it adds vibrancy to the whole page. No, just the whole bit. And sort of brings it alive, I think. Alive? No. Again, no. The keys aren't alive, but oh gosh, I hope you know what I'm trying to say. I'm sure you do. So there we have our gold key, and we have our little bit of chain, to do, and these beads. Now I think we could do the chain. We could do the chain in gold, we could do it in silver, or we could do it almost as if it's plastic, you know, like made of a coloured thing. But I think we'll do it in silver. Or would it make more sense? Let's do it in gold. It would make much more sense to do it in gold. So I'm going to use the burnt umber again, like I did to start with before. little bit under here. Now we've got a much smaller area and we still absolutely need to leave some white, so we need to just do the tiniest little bits. We don't need to necessarily leave a white on that very top bit, but for the rest we do. Now with the Van Dyke brown, so I'm going to tidy up what I did because it's a bit messy. Just only extend that brown by the tiniest margin. Then go for the brown ochre. And again, just extend it a little bit. That one we might be done. I'm just going to take that right up to the top. And the green gold. Could have done this at the same time, it would have been quicker. But never mind. Oh, I filled that space now and this one. So I'm not going to use that vibrant colour very much. I'm going to grab it, and it's the light cadmium yellow. I am going to go over everything, but not extend into that white space at all. Okay, so we add that vibrancy. So there's that. It looks a little bit darker, but I don't think that matters. And now we have these little beads. These are always good fun. What should we do with our gold? I'm thinking a nice red. This one's really sharp. There's a good reason as any. Dark red. So I'm going to sort of do these rhombus shaped ones first. Like I did with the other one, try and fade it a little bit into the middle. And then decide on the colour for the other ones. Should we do blue? Let's do blue. What should we choose? I like dark colours because then when you put the white shine on it really shows up. So I'm going to do a Prussian blue. It's really dark. I need to sharpen it a bit. Oh, can you hear a plane going over? Trying to leave a bit of a white gap in the middle is quite tricky, but we're going to add some white pen again. This is the same pen that we've been using. We use the same one all the time, I think. It's easier. You could add some shine to your key as well, but I'm a bit rubbish at doing that, so I don't tend to. Let's come out so we can see the whole thing, because I'm going to finish there for today. I think 2 elements is fine for one video, and then I've gone out quite a bit, and then I'll do how many I do will depend on the time, because it's a morning video. I usually keep them shorter. So I think also when you're working with metals and dye and sort of jewels, it can be a bit daunting, so it's quite nice not to have too much at a time, I think. So there are those 2. So thank you for watching. Yeah, as you know, pop in tomorrow for the next one. If you subscribe, you will get a notification if you click your bell when the next video is ready, so that can be handy. But and thank you to everyone who already subscribes, it makes a huge difference. But there, have a lovely day. Watch out for another video this afternoon. No idea what it's going to be. But thank you for watching. Have a lovely day and happy colouring.